hanging in Colorado. So,
We're
me.
live.
Oh, hey, we're live. Thanks for that heads up,
Hey,
Carl.
everybody.
Glad I have my clothes on. Jeez. You know, when you perform, they tell you you're about to go live. But this show, you just go live.
Yeah, Carl just pressed the button. It's 7 o'clock. He like, Brett.
What? I always want to be on. One thing I want people to say about our show is that we are on time. They can say it sucks. They can say it's on. They can say that we whine, we complain a lot, but they can never say we're not on time. So we are always on time. So what
Always on time.
saw that video? Apparently, Vuvu Rants is on a world tour, pissing people off from.
Well, it is. Yeah, I was so bummed because I came across it. Did you see it, Cav?
I want,
No.
yeah.
So one of our number one fans, Mr. Rovo Rants,
Oh,
he got into it with this young man, and he's a very smart man. I can't get it. I think his name is Marquise or something like that. I don't want to mess it up. But he's a teacher. He did a lot for the community, and he read him his rights. I was like, oh, so this is something that Vovo Ranch does. You have people that do that. They go around and they go to different podcasts to start trouble or try to challenge people or take people to another level. So, hey, it happens.
wow. I didn't know about that. That's
Yeah, I
interesting.
sent it to
Wow.
you.
Oh, wow. My bad. I'm sorry. I didn't see that. I was
Yeah, because you
traveling.
was sending 5,000 text messages.
All
Well, I was
right.
traveling this week. I was on the road traveling. I just got
I
home today.
see.
So
So yeah.
today's show, the main topic, the topic we're going to talk about for a little bit before we move on to our other black topics, is I've always wondered why does America and Israel have such a close relationship? It seems like America can do no wrong and Israel can do no wrong. And for and I know when we talk about Israel, the first thing people say is anti-Semitic. I trust me, I have no anti-Semitism. I don't even know what that word means, honestly. I mean, I know what it means, but I am just curious as to why most American politicians are so, uh, I don't want to say hung up, but everyone seems to come together and support Israel. I was just curious,
Hey,
honestly.
Carl, the fact that you got to tap dance and walk a tightrope right now is what you're doing. That proves how serious this is.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Like you're like trying to,
Right, I
you
have to.
know, you know what I'm saying.
He
You're
was a
walking a tightrope right now. Like you're up in the air and you're 200 feet up and you don't want to slip. Like the way you even explaining this
Yeah,
is with some fear. Like I mean, we know what it is. We can't
I
say
was
it.
about to say we know what it is, but
We
we
know what
talk
it is, and
at
we can't publicly say it
right. We got to
without
be at our
prosecution.
kitchen table talking about that.
Yeah, this is some barbershop shit, I guess. But we can't.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
know what it is. I mean, it's a rhetorical question, right? We know what it is. I mean, and we know why they kissed that ass. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
we can
like a
talk.
long standing affair. They've been having an affair with each other for years and years, and they just can't get away from each other. They got too much entwined with each other to break up. Just like we have a terrible relationship with them.
you know,
Yes, I mean, if you want to talk about, I'll just refer people to go listen to some Farrakhan stuff. Farrakhan caught a lot of heat, from talking about what your suggestion, Carl. He has talked. I mean, and matter of fact, when we talked about this last week, I should have referred you to go listen to some Farrakhan stuff because he has talked about it in depth, and that's why he's on the outskirts, and that's why he has been basically denounced by America because of his blunt truth about the situation that we're tap dancing in right now, right? So that's my that's the best way to put it, man. Go listen to some Furcon stuff, man. He'll break it down for you, and that's why Arsenio Hall lost his show because he had Furcon on the show. I mean, so It's deep, man. It's deep,
It's
Cole.
very deep. So, and just like you was talking about with Farrakhan, he wrote a book. He wrote a book about the history, and he quoted everything that their rabbi said. And then when they tried to tell him that he had to take out the stuff, he said, "Why would I have to take out everything that y'all put in y'all books?" He said, "I was just quoting y'all." You understand what I'm saying? So it's deeper than that, and that's why I be, my hands be off because
Yeah.
I don't have
What
time.
what really got me thinking was when I watched the part of the New York mayoral debate.
Yes.
Every single part, except for the one guy that won, all they asked, "Where would you go after you become mayor of New York?" And they all said Israel, Israel. And just one guy said, "No, I will stay in New York." And it was like, why is everyone so, you know,
I didn't even see that. Do you have a tape
yeah,
of that? That's so deep.
do it.
Who was the only one that didn't say that?
Yes,
Zohan?
yeah.
Well, he can't go over there anyway. That's why he said he's staying in New York. I'm
And,
not going over there. I'm not even going over there. I don't even think Cat want to go over there. He light skinned. Nope.
all right, so disclaimer: this is not the anti-Semitic show. Tiffany, can you do me
No.
the honors of explaining the rules?
Yes, we are protected by fair use only, educational purposes only, entertainment purposes only. Our views is our views alone, nobody else's views. Don't go follow us. You Google and do your own research. Please make sure you like and you subscribe and let us know in the comment how you feel.
All right,
Yes.
so
The first foreign visit by a mayor of New York is always considered significant. Where would you go first? Left to right, Ms. Adams.
First visit, I would visit the Holy Land.
Mr. Cuomo.
Given the hostility and the anti-Semitism that has been shown in New York, I would go to Israel.
Mr. Tilson, where would you go?
Yeah, I'd make my fourth trip to Israel, followed by my fifth trip to Ukraine, two of our greatest allies fighting on the front lines of the global war on terror.
Mr. Mamdani.
I would stay in New York City. My plans are to address New Yorkers across the 5 boroughs and focus on that.
Mr. Mamdani, can I just jump in? Would you visit Israel as mayor?
I will be doing, as the mayor, I'll be standing up for Jewish New Yorkers, and I'll be meeting them wherever they are across the 5 boroughs, whether that's in their synagogues and temples or at their homes or at the subway platform, because ultimately we need to focus on delivering on their concerns.
And just yes or no, do you believe in a Jewish state of Israel?
I believe Israel has the right to exist.
Not
as a Jewish state?
As a state with equal rights.
He won't
Not as a
say it
Jewish
has a
state.
right to exist as a Jewish state. Be very
And
clear.
his answer was no, he won't visit Israel.
I said that.
That's what he was trying to say.
No. Unlike you, I answer questions very directly.
All right.
My goal would be to take my first trip to Israel. My wife's life work in this area means a lot to our family, and it could coincide with my young son Miles' bar mitzvah, if you'd like to have his bar mitzvah.
Okay, but
Have you noticed that the Republicans and the Democrats can't agree on nothing except when it comes Israel and Netanyahu can come over here? You see the leader of the Republicans, the leader of the Democrats standing together with Netanyahu. Is that a strange picture? That you can't agree on the welfare of the American people, but you can agree on what is in the best interest of Israel? Talk back to me.
The reason America supports Israel is not all that complicated. Yo buddy Biden told us.
For apologizing for our support for Israel. There's no apology to be made. None. It is the best $3 billion investment we make. Were there not an Israel, the United States of America would have to invent an Israel to protect her interest in the region.
America ain't no benevolent country. Israel was a strategic military base for us, a way to control at least 2 major resources in the region, oil and opium. Y'all know how lucrative oil is because you can see these gas prices. And opium makes opioids. And guess who's having an opioid crisis because it's in every prescription? The US of A. Israel wasn't charity. US funds it because we want to colonize and control the Middle East.
I am thrilled that the United States is trying to police the proliferation of nuclear weapons. Imagine what the world would look like if it was otherwise. And I think that to throw away our moral voice
would still be the only country that has ever bombed another country with nuclear weapons. And let me ask you one question. Why did the Iran hostage crisis take place?
So certainly,
I'm asking you
fundamentalist radicals took over the government who
why?
hate the West.
Why did they take over the government? Why?
Because they're religious jihadis who want to eliminate Western society.
They hate our way of life. They hate our way of life.
Or they overthrew the Shah of Iran, who we imposed on Iran because the Dulles brothers, one at the CIA and one at the State Department, decided that the oil beneath the soil of Iran belonged to BP and belonged to us. And when Mossadegh, who was the leader of Iran, the democratically elected leader of Iran, said that we would like to audit BP because we want to know if you are cheating us or paying the people of Iran based on the oil under their soil. And they said, you may not audit us. And then we overthrew him and he wound up dying in prison because we decided that we, in our arrogance as a country, got to own their oil. And wait a minute, no, one moment. And so the hatred of the United States had to do with the hatred of the Shah, who brutally repressed the people of Iran for 26 years until he was overthrown within Iran because he was not their natural king. They didn't want a king any more than we wanted a king. The bottom line is the arrogance of the United States' foreign policy. We act as if people act in a vacuum, and that nothing we do has ever led to the hatred of us in other countries. And I'm not saying that hostages should be taken, but you just said because they hate our freedoms. Well, that's BS.
No, they hate the
With the knowledge you gain, break away from the chains. We helping you grow the Black Therapy Show. In a safe space, dealing with the black trauma. We unpacking and inspecting all our baggage and drama. Cause we gotta unite, no more killing each other. It's time to see a new future for my sisters and brothers. You know, with Kevin, Carl, and Tiffany, you'll have an epiphany. We'll give you everything you need to handle the enemy. We be giving you empathy, we gon' challenge you mentally. The right conversation so you grow exponentially. We built the penitentiaries, we built all the schools. Gave us brainwash education, just making us fools. Hatred was what we got in exchange for love. No more manipulation from my God above. No, it's Carl, Kevin, and Tiffany. Now welcome to the Black Therapy Show. Let's go.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us here Sunday, 7 p.m. for some Black Therapy. As you see, this Sunday we are talking about why America and Israel are so close. I have always wondered that. And then after watching the mayoral debate, and I saw every single, almost every single, except for one person, was asked, which would you visit after you won the mayor? Everyone said Israel, and I was like, why? What is?
Why?
What is? You... And then it's just out of curiosity. Seriously, it's just out of curiosity. And that question that you saw during the debate, and I see this question: what does Israel have a right to exist? And I wanted Jairon, I hope I'm saying that, or Guron on YouTube. Jaron Rose, I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly. They said everybody have a right to exist. Yes, everybody has a right to exist. Why does this question keep coming up? Does Israel have a right to exist? Yes, Israel has a right to exist. Palestine has a right to exist. America has a right to exist. Greece, Italy, Switzerland. Everyone has a right to exist.
Any human being that is on this earth that God gave breath to be here has the right to exist. Now, their behaviors, and that's a totally different thing.
I think they say that because of the Holocaust. Like the Holocaust was supposed to wipe out all the Jews. That was the bottom line of the Holocaust, right? Was to wipe out all the Jewish people. So there are still people. There are still people with that mindset who still want to wipe Jewish people off the face of the planet. So I think when people ask that question, Carl and Tiff, I think that's what they're referring to. Do they have the right to exist? I think they're saying there's still people who want to wipe Jewish people
Okay.
off.
Oh, okay. Now I
Yeah. So
understand.
yeah, I think
What you mean.
I believe that's why that's answered. I mean, asked that question is asked.
Yeah.
Mhm. But remember, they said, and this is their slogan: "It will never happen again."
Right.
You understand? So that's why they stand strong with each other. They have community. They have, because they said it's not going to happen. We need to take notes. We should say, us as Black people, it's not going to happen no more, and build our communities. But yeah, I like that.
Yeah, that's a whole other show, Tiff.
Yeah, I know.
I don't think we have time to get into that, but I hear what you're saying. I think it's too late for all of that. I think we're in a lot of trouble.
Like the brother said, and I saw a lot more videos along those lines, that America needs a presence in the Middle East, so they can control the oil, the opium, all the precious metals, and
That's what it's about. It's about business.
Absolutely,
that's what it's always been about. That's why
Always been about.
That's why Haiti is considered a third world country, right? Because a certain country that we all know and love and live in went to Haiti and stole all their resources and made them a third world country. So Haiti just didn't show up as a third world country. They were turned into a third world country.
Yeah, and they mad at us
from
too.
the colonizers.
And they mad for the Louisiana Exchange. They still mad about that. But yeah, it's
yeah. So Jairon Rose on YouTube says, and I do hope Zarhan, is that how you pronounce his name? Zarhan. When's the New York mayoral election?
Mamani or whatever the case may be. But I'm gonna be honest with you. When he answered the question with the Israel, I don't know. It's like everybody is like Israel is like Walt Disney World. After the game, everybody said, "Where you going?" "We're going to Walt Disney World." Like everybody's like, "We're going to Israel," and that man answered that question very well. I'm not going. I'm staying here in New York. He's a Muslim man. You already know what's going on over there. They're warring.
Yeah.
They're warring. People are dying and stuff. So no, I get it, and that's probably why he got those votes. He won. He won. They pushed Cuomo out.
Yeah, Cuomo got his ass
So
whipped.
now you got Mayor Adams. I even heard Mayor Adams online, and I'm kind of shocked, but I see that now he's working, to go against him. He called him an anti-Semite. That he feels like he should not be the mayor because of his, background or whatever the case may be. It should always be someone from America that is, that's American, whatever. Listen, it's just we're gonna see a lot of people shifting faces with this man in here. Doing this election.
Because everybody's so desperate for power. Mayor Adams is desperate for power. Cuomo's desperate for power. I don't know when enough power is enough power for these people. They just want to continue to have power.
And not helping the people or giving the people what they really need.
They're not at all. Not helping a damn soul.
I mean, come on, minimum wage needs to be, something needs to be done with that. The infrastructure, they just putting in buildings and houses and all of these crevices. Our rent is going up. Our pay is not going up. We got to work 2 and 3 jobs to survive. That's what they need to be worrying about. And activities for the children and mental health.
Anybody who runs on helping, like this guy that won. How you pronounce his name, by the way, Tiff?
No, you're not going to do that.
Is it Madani? I don't want to mess up his name. Is it Madani? Madonna? You live in New York City?
Because I think somebody said his name wrong during the debate, and he was very upset. He was like, "It's my money" or something like that.
Well, you live in New York City, so that's why I came to you.
I didn't vote for him. I'm gonna be honest with you.
I got you. No, I'm just saying that he's running on good messages. Like he wants to do everything you just said need to be done. That's what he's running on. But then he's called a socialist because he wants to help people. So we're now living in a country where if you're a politician and you want to help people live better lives, and you're considered a socialist, and that's considered bad. So basically,
And that's messed
a
up.
socialist is a person that wants to make their playing field even for everybody, so everybody can have a decent life, right? He wants to, but that means rich people got to pay some taxes, and rich people don't want to help poor people. So you're a socialist now because you want Tiff to have a better life. You're a socialist. What the hell does that mean? Like that? Like what? You're running on helping people?
Well,
That's ridiculous. That's
that's
basically
just
what
like
they're saying.
what did they say about what's his name, the boxer that he didn't want to fight in the war, Muhammad Ali? They felt like he was a communist just because he didn't want to fight, and he just said, "I don't want to fight in the war. I don't want to kill somebody that never called me a nigga." You understand what I'm saying? So it's the same thing. His name is Mam
Madani.
Mamdani,
Okay, yeah, I didn't want to mess his name
Mamdani.
up. So
Yeah.
thank you. I didn't want to mess his name up because
Zoran. I'm just gonna call him Big Z because no,
that's a good name, Big Z.
Big Z, because I don't know. I don't want to mess up people's names. People get very upset when you mess their name
But let me
up.
ask you a question, Tim, because you live in New York City, right? So
Right.
do you think Mayor Adams did a good job?
To be, you want to hear? I'm stuck in the middle though. You don't understand. I know too many people that know him, that's affiliated with him. But again, since these elections, you start to see people for who they are. You understand? When he mentioned that about him, I was very upset. He needs to talk about what was going on with him, because that's why a lot of people didn't want to vote for him or didn't want to deal with him, because he had too many unanswered questions. People think that he's jipping people, he's taking bribes, he's doing this. So I think that he should have talked more about what he want to do instead of going in on this man. But it's a part of election. They get on each other and stuff like that.
I thought he
But
would be a dead man walking, but he seems to be rejuvenated because he had a huge, when he announced his reelection run last week, he had a huge, and I mean huge, freaking crowd of people out there supporting him. I saw that on the news. I was like, what? I thought, but yeah, he got a lot of supporters, black people, everybody out there shouting for him and fist bumping and everything. I was like, what the hell? I
he
thought the
bringing
guy.
out old Negro spirituals and everything. Listen, like I said, I never had an issue with him. He's always been nice. I have met him on a few occasions, dealing with Fashion Week Brooklyn and stuff like that. So I never saw him be negative or be negative towards me or to others. I always see him doing stuff. So again, I'm not deeply in it. Like I could be able to say he did this, he did that, he did that. You know what I'm saying? I'm outside looking in. He did the best of his ability. But we also know, once you have a black man in position, what happens? They will shut you down and start giving you stuff, doing stuff to you, saying stuff. It was hard for Mayor Dinkins. Remember with Mayor Dinkins? So it's just like, it's a lot. It's a lot. So it's like, you damn if you do, you damn if you don't. So we'll see when the election come. But Big Z, he ruffled some feathers. He got people like in a state of shock, like, oh my gosh.
I don't trust Mayor Adams. One, he went down and kissed the ring in 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. He went and kissed Donnie's ring, and then I don't trust anybody who associates himself with the Orange Man. So, and he did that. So, and then he's also a cop, and he also talked about bringing back stop and frisk, which is only going to affect people that look like everybody on this panel. So I have some issues with the bro.
Yeah, I get it, because I didn't hear nobody mention mental health awareness. Like I
Right.
looked at all of those things, bringing back things for the young people. They need outlets to be able to go places, do things, bring back more trade schools. Like they need a lot. In the community. Like I said, I'm not out there. We already know a lot of these politicians. They would tell you anything to get a vote.
That is true. Wow.
Your mute is on.
My mute?
No,
My
not you.
mute was on. My mute was on. So
Oh.
here's Zohani, I think it's.
You are a self-described democratic socialist. Do you think that billionaires have a right to exist?
I don't think that we should have billionaires because, frankly, it is so much money in a moment of such inequality. And ultimately, what we need more of is equality across our city and across our state and across our country. And I look forward to work with everyone, including billionaires, to make a city that is fairer for all of them.
Well, let me ask you about what Donald Trump, the president of the United States, has had to say. He's had a lot to say about your campaign. He called you a communist. Because he's the president, I want to give you a chance to respond directly to him. How do you respond? Are you a communist?
No, I am not. And I have already had to start to get used to the fact that the president will talk about how I look, how I sound, where I'm from, who I am, ultimately because he wants to distract from what I'm fighting for. And I'm fighting for the very working people that he ran a campaign to empower that he has since then betrayed. And when we talk about my politics, you know, I call myself a democratic socialist in many ways inspired by the words of Dr. King from decades ago, who said, call it democracy or call it democratic socialism, there has to be a better distribution of wealth for all of God's children in this country. And as income inequality has declined nationwide, it has increased in New York City. And ultimately, what we need is a city where every single person can thrive.
He sounds good. He mentioned it, Martin Luther King.
Well, Luther King was called a communist. So yeah. So I'm glad he brought that up because I was thinking the whole time he was talking that Dr. King was called a communist in his time. So yeah, and Trump ran on the same thing that this guy ran on, but then Trump, when he won, he betrayed everybody. That he betrayed everybody. Like he's not even doing anything that he said he's going to do. The only thing he's been true to is his war against black and brown folks. That's the only thing he's been true to. All his other campaign promises have gone out the window. So, and this guy's running, he run basically on the same thing Trump said he was going to do. Lower prices, make housing better for people, you know, all the shit he's supposed to be doing for America, he's not doing. And this guy's he's running the same campaign that Trump said he was going to do. That's why he said Trump got in office and betrayed everybody, because he's not doing anything. So to say this guy's a communist, then Trump, you're a communist because you're doing this, you ran on the same freaking campaign promises. It's crazy, man.
And the thing is, you can't believe any of them.
No, you really can't. You can't believe any politician. But you know what? You can't believe any politician, Tiff, but you can have faith in a guy that you don't know because the other guys already showed you who they are.
Right.
You know, Mayor Adams already showed you who he is. Trump has already showed us who he is. But we already know who Como is. And I ain't got a problem with Como. I mean, he never done nothing to me. I mean, I don't, you know, his biggest thing was he was a single man with a lot of money and he tried to pick up women. So, duh. That's what single men do, right? So his downfall was trying to get some ass. That's what he's supposed to do. You know? Oh, he flirted with the police officer on the elevator. He's a single man.
Yeah, they want you clean as a whistle.
There's no such thing as clean as a whistle. No single man with power, and money is not trying to pick up women. That's one of the perks of being rich and famous, right? Is getting women.
But
so
we already know, Kev and Carl and everybody, that was beef between him and Trump. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, I think that Cuomo was able to hold down the fort down when we had the pandemic. I mean, I felt comfortable with him. He did very good, you know, with making everybody feel comfortable and talking and communicating, where Trump was getting on our nerves. Y'all know it. He was getting on our damn nerves. So he saw that people was gravitating to him. And what happened? We had white on white crime. They shut his ass down.
You are right, Tiffany, 100%. You're 100% right, Tiff. Because I said this, guys. I said Como was so popular at one point, I thought he was going to challenge Trump for the presidency. I said, this guy can actually is one of the few people that can challenge, because Trump can't beat a white man. Trump cannot. He lost to Biden. He ran 3 times. He beat 2 women, but he's never beat a white man. He can't. He would have lost to Como if Como would have ran. So, and they knew that. So they took him down, Tiff. You're right. It was all a takedown.
No, I saw
get him out of the.
I saw it
Get him out
happening. We saw it. You
Yeah.
saw the white on white crime coming. And he was definitely a challenge for him. And he knew that Cuomo was going to do it. Now, Ron, I didn't know who he was. I don't know him. I ain't never seen him. He just popped out of nowhere. You understand? And that's why I didn't know about him or anything. So I voted for Cuomo. But we see that people want brand new, people want fresh. They really sick of they sick of Cuomo. They don't want Cuomo in. So maybe it's something else Cuomo can do. And now we got to deal with this.
Because this guy that won the primary, he basically, like you said, came out of nowhere. But you know what he did? He basically did the same thing that Barack Obama did, because everybody already had Hillary winning the primary, and Hillary being, top of thing. And then this young guy came out of nowhere with a brilliant gift of gab and charisma and handsome and all that stuff. And he kicked Hillary's ass and became president for 8 years. So that's that. And nobody expected, like, who the hell is this guy?
Yeah,
And,
and you're right about that, but they wasn't letting Hillary again. This is a white man's world. They was not letting Hillary in here, or
right.
even Kamala. I'm sorry, I'm just keeping it real with you. Sometimes we have to accept the fact.
Oh yeah,
But
no doubt.
like I said, we will see when the elections come up. We will see how they will be debate. They're gonna have to do more debating and going around and talking, and we're gonna see who people really are. To figure out who we're gonna vote for New York.
But Kevin said something I was thinking. Whenever there's a person that wants to do good and treat people fairly and even out the wealth, close the wealth gap, those are the people that, never get any love,
You're right. Somebody, I was listening to a commentator on Urban View named Clay Kane. If you'll get a chance to listen to him, listen to him. But he's a very smart guy, wrote some really great books. But he was talking about the what's the Spanish guy that ran for president? He was Barack Obama's HUD secretary. I can't think of his name right now. Castro. I can't think of Castro's his name is Castro, but he ran for president. He's a senator, Spanish guy. He had some amazing ideas, and Clay Kane's like, this guy ran, his campaign was everything that America needs, and he didn't even come close to winning the presidency because he's a Spanish man. Like, they don't care. Like, this guy will come, if Castro became president, he was gonna fix all this stuff, right? He had this great ideas, but people are like, man, you can't be president, because you're a Spanish man. You're American, you're born here, but you're still Spanish. We can't have you being president. Like, people don't care. People care more about, oh my God, this country
Say it.
I can't. I'm so freaking baffled by our country right now. I don't even know what to think anymore, Tiff and Carl.
The thing is,
like, we're living in a freaking. I keep thinking, like, Patricia's gonna push me and wake up. Hey, Kev, wake up! You're dreaming. You're dreaming. Like, Kamala's president, and you've been having a bad dream for 2 hours. Like, it can't even be real. What's happening right now? Like, this country in the last 6 months has made a complete 360. Like, we're living basically right now, basically in 1968, with all these laws being changed. And it's going to continue to decline down. It'll be 1958 by September, and worse.
You're ridiculous. You're ridiculous. But
No, I know. See, that's because Tiff, I keep my ears to the streets. I know what's going on in this country. I'm telling you, you think I'm being ridiculous? Do you understand? We're going to talk about the birthright citizenship on this show today, I believe. So when we get into that, you don't understand what that means, obviously. You think it's just going to affect. They passed a law already to get rid of all these Haitian people. Already the Haitians and Guatemala. Was Guatemala? What's the other country? They're getting, these people are basically about to get shipped out of here. Is that serious? They're building prisons. They're building prisons. These freaking alligator Alcatraz is being built as we speak. You know, that's a prison that they're building in the middle of the Florida Everglades, apparently, which is going to hold people. I'm sure those people are going to be black and brown folks. You know, if you try to escape, you got to get through the Everglades. You try to get through the Everglades, you'll become food for alligators and snakes. So there's no escaping.
Okay. So, but bottom line for me is the relationship between Israel and America is oil and, you know, whatever they can get out of the Middle East. America needs a presence in the Middle East so they can get oil and opium and whatever minerals they need.
Yes.
And from watching all the videos and listening to, and I read, you know, went online and read some stuff, I have come to that conclusion that the reason America and Israel, America needs a presence. They couldn't get a presence in Iran. They couldn't get a presence in Afghanistan or Iraq, but Israel gave them a presence in, you know, so said in that video, if there wasn't an Israel, they would make one.
And if we ever get a chance to do a show on Gaddafi, I think we should one of these days.
Yes.
Because that runs deep too. And that kind of goes down.
Gaddafi was trying to get all the black heads of states of Africa to convert over to gold or something. Like he was trying to do a lot to open up their own.
He's going against the system, and he was also they also had free healthcare over there. I mean, they were sending people to school. The guy was doing some good stuff, but America made him out to be, you know, a villain, and then they took him out. You know.
Again, it's a control thing. You know, it's all about control.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to move on to birth. I was just made aware of this today, actually, this birthright citizenship. I know what it means. It means if you are in America illegally and you have a baby, the baby's automatically an American citizen. I think that's written in the Constitution, if I remember correctly. Any person born on American soil is an American citizen. I don't know if Trump reversed it or he's given the okay or they cleared the path for him to reverse that or cancel it or stop it or whatever. But I didn't get a chance to read too much on it, to be honestly. But I know Kevin said, and from what I saw online, it seemed to be a pretty hot topic.
Because it's a topic that's going to affect all of us. Because you know he's not just going after. You know, he's eventually going to come. He's going after everybody, and I mean, the goal, the ultimate bottom line, is to make America white again.
Right.
You know, so I don't know how that looks, but
yeah, I don't know how. I don't know how.
Stephen
It's
Miller.
so much.
Stephen Miller said, who Trump's chief of staff, I believe he is, or director. I don't know Stephen Miller's title, but he's a white supremacist, and he said, and he works for Trump, white supremacist that works in our White House in the West Wing, said on TV that he believes that America should only be 100 million people, and that I think is the number of white people that's here. So that's what he said. So he was referring to. He basically said
control.
He basically said it should be only white people here. That's what he said without saying it. When he said 100 million, and people did the math, they go, "Wait a minute, that's 100 million. That's the white population." Yeah, that's what he said. A guy that works in the White House, a guy who's behind. By the way, who's behind a lot of the deportation stuff that's going on.
All right, so here's a video on birthright. So let me ask you a question though.
Yes.
After 4 years are up, they are expecting another Republican to come in and because Trump can't do all this in 4 years. So I mean, all this stuff he's doing, they're hoping because it can be reversed, right? If a Democratic president comes into office, he can reverse all the stuff that Trump did. So they're.
Do you understand that Trump has erased like 60 years, 70 years, 60 years of progress in 6 months in this country just with his executive orders? He's erased And
Well,
he has a
you
supreme.
acting
He
like
has.
he's the only he just became racist, or this world wasn't already
He
racist
has this.
already.
He has a Supreme Court. Yeah, but there are laws on the books, though, Tiff. There are laws that's on the books, but those laws now, Trump is not following any laws. Normally, a president had to go. There's three branches of government. Normally, a president has to get permission to do stuff from the other branches. Now, he don't need permission anymore to do anything. The Supreme Court justice has given him the power to do whatever the F he wants to do. So he has no filter. You understand what I'm saying? He could do what he want to do. I mean, he wasn't supposed to send the Marines into Los Angeles. That's unconstitutional.
But they didn't do
But who
anything about
stopped
it.
them?
I thought
Nobody stopped.
y'all.
Nobody
I'm
stopped
thinking
them.
y'all said that the president is controlled by the Congress. They can't do nothing. Well, this is what y'all been preaching. Y'all been talking about. People
Yes,
been talking about for
that's the
years. This
way
is
it's
why
been. That's the way.
Obama couldn't, because of Obama couldn't do this. He couldn't do
You're
that
right.
because of this. Now all of a sudden you got this president doing whatever the hell he want, and now it's an issue. But
Because
y'all said
Obama
Obama or
followed
nobody else couldn't do it.
other presidents followed rules, Tiffany. There's rules set in place for presidents. There's rules set in place. The other presidents had to, they followed the Constitution. They follow rules. If you read the Constitution, there's rules in the Constitution. All right, I'm a president, but I'm not a king. I can't do this without permission. I need permission from Congress to send bombs to bomb Iran. I got to get a thumbs up from the Congress before I send bombs to Iran.
So
I
what
gotta
is the
get I gotta get permission.
consequences?
I gotta
What is
get
the
permission.
consequences?
I gotta get permission from Congress before I send Marines into the streets of Los Angeles. I gotta get
So what is the
permission.
consequences for him? What is the
There is
consequences?
no consequences for
Okay, so
him.
that means that the Congress can't do nothing. They can't say nothing. That means all these years y'all been telling us that the Congress and the president has to go through them. That means they've been lying to us for years. They don't have to do nothing. The president can do anything he want to do, as we see what Trump is doing.
Trump is not a president. He's a dictator. You're missing the point. That's my point. He's not running as a president. He's not running. Look, George Bush was a horrible president in my eyes, but he followed the law. He didn't do he didn't go outside the Constitution to do stupid shit. He had to get permission to invade Iraq and take out Saddam Hussein. He had to get permission from the Congress to do this.
That was also before Obama and
Yes,
made
I'm saying.
all the
So
whites mad as hell.
Obama bombed people too. He bombed people. He killed people. He went after Bin Laden.
No,
He had to
I get it, but I'm just saying all of
he
this
had to
is
get
happening.
permission to do all of this stuff. He just didn't go. Let's go. I mean, he had to get approval. Uh, you know, and all this stuff. Like presidents have to get. They're just one head of a branch of government. There's three branches of government, and that's how the forefathers put it. So no one person can have so much power. Now Trump comes in and he says, "Okay, f all of that. I want all the power. I want to be a king. I want to be a dictator." And he's running the country like that. So dictators don't listen to other people. They do what they want to do, and they install fear in people, Tiff. So now there are Republicans who probably don't agree with a damn thing he's doing, but they're not going to come out and say anything because they're scared of the consequences from MAGA, the death threats on their family, from MAGA. I mean, it's a lot going on, Tiff. I mean, they just assassinated the
Two Congress
senators out
people.
there.
You talking
The
about two
Congress,
Congress
yeah,
people from
they had her funeral was yesterday, right?
both of them, because it was
Yeah,
her and her husband.
and Trump didn't even show up at the funeral. He freaking went and played golf. In the middle of that people's funeral, he went and played golf. He's the president of the United States. A U.S. senator was murdered, was assassinated, and this guy went and played golf instead of attending the funeral.
I wanted to, we already know his behavior. I'm not surprised at his behavior. I want to get back to this birthright because I was kind of trying to figure it out because a lot of people said I was doing some research where it started out for
Baby.
enslaved black people, and then once we were free, that was kind of removed. But it was like a loophole for people from other countries where they would get pregnant so they can have American children. Because I done heard people saying it and doing it. You know, and we know people done had children so they can be able to become citizens. So, I mean, is it a good thing or is it a bad thing? You know, that
It's a
people are
very bad
using the
thing.
system
It's a
to, you
bad
know,
thing.
huh?
It's a bad thing. It's a very bad
Is it a
thing.
bad thing for them having children here, knowing, you know, they're not citizens, but they're doing it because they know that they can be able to have, you know, some type of their children to be citizens.
What's wrong with that?
No, I'm just asking. I
I'm
mean,
just saying, what's wrong with that? All right, they come over here, they have sex, they get pregnant, and the baby is now an American.
no, but I'm
Who
saying this
cares?
is what he is trying to stop. You understand where you have a
He's
lot of
not
people
trying to
that
stop it
do
with
come
South
over here.
Africans. He's not trying to stop it with South Africans. He's not trying to stop it with people from Norway. He's not trying to stop it with anybody from Canada. He's not trying to stop it from any country where there's white people coming in, getting pregnant too, and their kids. He's trying to eliminate the growth of colored people because we're outnumbering them. We have more babies in them. The country is very black and brown. If you look around, you know, there's more of us than them in a sense, as far as the Hispanics, the Haitians, the people like Carl from the islands are here,
Listen, I don't have no
Jamaica,
problem
and
with
all
people
these
being
people are
free.
all, I'm just saying, there's people from all over the world. This is a melting pot. It's always been a melting pot. So even
Yeah, but
people
you
like,
want to do it
even
legally,
Italians at
don't you
one
want to do
point,
it legally?
even Italians one point wasn't considered white. Now they're considered
Right.
white.
But
But
then they now
you
they
know why the Italians
compliment
are
to be
considered white?
whites.
You know why they're considered white now?
Yeah, because
Because they needed them to be white because they
right,
were
but yeah.
outnumbered. They were outnumbered. So they said, well, let's make them white. Because the white man has always wanted to not be outnumbered by colored people in this country. So they started making Italian people, they're now considered
Honorary
white.
whites.
Yeah,
The ones
basically,
that
yes.
wasn't white
Yeah, because
before.
they were considered, you know, the N word at one point when they came here, right? So, and the
Or they
Irish.
was considered their whoever. If you was from Ireland, you was Ireland. Just like you know how you have a lot of the West Indies come over here and they say I'm Jamaican. I'm not. You know, I'm just Jamaican. I'm not American. I'm not black. But they say I'm not black. I'm Jamaican. You understand? Or I'm from here. I'm not this. So I get it. You
Yeah.
know, I get it. But like I said, I don't know. Cause we got our own issues over here. I gotta worry about to be worried about anybody else's issues. I'm sorry.
Well, their issues is our issues because it's basically an attack on black and brown folks.
Okay,
So
you right about
when they
that,
get
but
through with them, our asses is next
no,
tip.
I'm not worried about because our ancestors been here too long. I'm not worried about that. But again, I
Okay.
don't have a problem with other people coming and trying to get freedom. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't like how they treat women in other countries. You understand what I'm
In other
saying?
countries, look how they treat
But
women here. What are you talking
no,
about?
no, no. It's a whole lot different from over there. Okay? Because
Really?
they selling little
Okay.
girls for 12 and 13 years old to marry old ass nasty men.
Okay.
Okay? They're taking off their clitorises and they doing a lot of stuff to women over there. So I'm not with
I
that.
got you. So
But my thing is, hold on.
Tiffany, no, right
Yes.
now we have masked men calling themselves ICE, but really they're the Proud Boys and the Bigelow Boys and the Oath Keepers and the KKK run around with masks on for
I'm
Trump,
not surprised
snatching
at that.
Hispanic women up off the streets and throwing them in the back of vans. And
No,
these girls are
listen,
being raped, by the way.
I'm not saying it's not happening. I'm not again. I don't have no problem with anybody coming here for freedom or to get away from whatever they're going through. Okay,
Okay.
but also I want them to know they cannot disrespect black people. Okay, because you have a lot of people that's coming from other countries that is disrespecting us because they were taught to disrespect us or they don't know our history. We don't have no problem with helping. We don't have no problem with supporting. Remember, we opened up the doors for so many to be able to come here, but you cannot come here and disrespect us or call us names or call us lazy and all of that stuff when we was the ones that opened up doors. Again, I don't have no problem here for people to have freedom, but please respect us. That's it.
Agree with that. You got that, Carl? No, I'm just kidding.
Carl.
Carl, you muted again? Oh, he's doing his videos. Okay. Yeah, Tiff. So yeah, so right now, I'm just saying, the Stephen Millers and Peter Thiel and what's that South African Nazi rich dude? All these guys that work for Trump are hardcore, evil, racist ass people, man.
You next.
No, look, I heard what you said, Carl. Somebody put you next. Why? And that's another thing. Why? You got to remember, too. Do you know a lot of people thought that we are migrants? We are not migrants. We've been here for a very long time. If we on the list, we're on a list at the end. They're not worried about us right now. They're really not. We got other issues they're getting us with, but they can't send us back, especially if your ancestors were slaves here. What you said, Carl?
No, I just had a technical snafu. That's all.
It's all about free labor, Tiffany. That's why they're building all these prisons. Look, all these people that Trump has snatched up since he starts ICE and snatching up all these millions. When he ran for office, he first said, we're going to get these criminals out of here and send them back to their countries. So he's supposed to go at the MS-13 and all these people over here doing bad stuff, and he's going to send them back to their countries. And then once he grabbed those people, but all the other people he's been grabbing, the housekeepers and the farm workers and all the day laborers and all the people, the painters and the landscapers and all these people who aren't breaking the law, who's just working, doing shit jobs that we don't want to do, right? They're not even sending them back to their country. They're sending them to camps. They're sending them to other countries that has concentration camps, because we didn't have anything like that in this country under the other presidents. We don't have no concentration camps. But now, so they start sending these people to other countries that do have all of these horrible prisons.
That's hard. When you say
but now they're
concentration
building,
camps,
Tiffany, they're building prisons here now. Now they're building prisons here, like Alligator Alcatraz and all that BS. They're building stuff here so they can put all these people into prisons now. They're not sending
that's too much for me, Kat.
I'm being honest though. They're not sending them back to their homes. They're not sending them back to El Salvador. They're sending them to prisons, because at the end of the day, it's all about free labor. America's always been free labor.
And if they doing that to those people, it's
What do you
just
think
real
Jim
sad.
Crow was?
Again, I can't stress that. That's just horrible.
It is horrible.
It's just horrible, and if that is happening, that's that. Go get the orange man, because we're not in charge of that. Okay, we're not in charge of that.
So, Pam Jones, friend, where's Pam again? I always forget what state Pam.
Seattle? Is she in Seattle?
Seattle. Pam in Seattle says it's only a matter of time before they come for black folks. You guys believe that?
I already know.
What are they
I
coming
know.
for?
I've done my homework.
What they coming for that we already been going through right now? What are they going to do? They're going to they sending me and you back to Africa? Because I'm not going back to Nigeria, where my ancestors came back 700 years ago. I'm not going there.
All right,
where they gonna take you at? Carl can go back to Barbados to his country. Where you going, Cab?
They're not even sending Carl back to Barbados. They sending his ass to a freaking prison camp to be free labor, like they doing everybody else. That's the bottom line. You guys don't understand what the fuck is going on. I get it, but it's okay. Do your homework. I've already done mine. I'm not trying to fearmonger nobody. I'm not trying to fearmonger nobody.
I'm not
telling
doing
you. Okay, you don't have to.
I think what Kevin is saying and what people are saying when they say that black people are next, just like back in when it was after slavery, how they made up laws, they made up loitering laws and vagrancy laws.
Yeah.
Right? Freed the slaves, and then they made up laws because
to arrest us. Yeah.
To send American citizens to prisons in other countries.
He's doing it already. There are U.S. citizens being sent to other camps. If somebody pulls up in a van and jump out with guns and masks on and snatch your black guys off the street, what are you gonna do? Call your lawyer?
So what's stopping the police from making up charges against black people? Say, hey,
they've been doing that.
To make it up, but then that's how he's gonna get you out of the country.
But we had laws, Tiffany, that stopped them from doing that. We had laws. Look, we watched Derek Chauvin kill George Floyd. Derek Chauvin is now in a prison for that. Now it's getting to the point where a cop can kill you and get away with it because Trump is giving them immunity. There's no checks and balances anymore. This guy is changing all the stuff that this country, and this country is far from perfect, but all the stuff that 60 years of progress since the 60s that has been the progress we have made is now going backwards. That's what I'm saying. We're not going forward. We're going backwards.
So you really think that us black people is going to sit there and
No,
allow
I think
it?
that we will go out and fight. We'll go out and fight because we're a fighting spirit, but nobody wins a civil war. But innocent people end up dying, right?
Well, I die standing up than on my goddamn knees.
That's what, ain't nothing wrong with that. I got you. I'm with you on that.
But what is being said, Tiffany, is don't wait till it's too late. I think a lot of black Americans are saying, hey, I was born here. They can't send me anywhere. No, the guy Stephen Miller said he wants America to be 100 million people, meaning he wants all white people. So they're going to find ways. I know it sounds crazy. They thought it was crazy. They didn't see
So what you want us to do? What do you want us to do? Since y'all over here fear-mongering, what are we going to do?
Be aware. I'm not saying what to do. I'm saying be aware, though. Don't think it can't happen. Don't say it can't happen.
It's not fear-mongering. Okay. Tell them the truth about, look, we're no longer living. This is why I've been saying this for 4 years when people come on our show and go, oh, the Democrats are just as bad as the Republicans. I mean, if I had $1 for every time I heard that, I'd go buy my mom a mansion tomorrow, right? So, look, the freaking Democrats are just as bad. No, they're not. Because I can't think of not one Democratic president that had masked men running around, snatching people off the streets and throwing them in the back of vans and putting them in freaking camps and sending them to concentration camps and raping the girls and beating the men and sending them, taking them away from their families. And where's this Garcia guy? He's still in jail. He ain't seen his kids in freaking 4 months now, and he ain't do nothing. He wasn't no gang member. The guy was coming from work with his kid when he got snatched up. You know, he ain't no gang member. Trump said, I'm going after gang members. Then when he became president, because all these racist ass people, oh yeah, get all the Spanish. Then when he became president, he switched up. He's like, all right, I'm going after all people. You ain't got to be a gang member. You could be a housekeeper. I'm coming after you. You could be at your kid's graduation school in Los Angeles. ICE is busting in there and snatching y'all too. Like, you could be on the farm working, picking peaches, you know, and corn on the cob. We're snatching y'all too.
All reason he's coming to work anyway. That's why the white farmers think that we're coming down there to work.
You know, Tiffany, and of all the video you have seen of people being deported, have you seen any white people?
Thank you.
About it. Have you seen any? Do you think there are no white people illegally in this country? You think there are no white?
No, I'm not saying that. If that's the case, you want to get to Asians. Asians, they said Asians was the first ones to start doing that birthright, making sure they had babies before they came. Having babies while they was here on this land to be
and they're gonna go after them too.
Listen, again, I'm not saying, but we already been through so much in our life.
But I'm saying,
especially black people. You really think I'm worried?
But we made progress though. You're right, Tim. We went through a lot in this country, but we made progress. We made progress, but now we got a guy who Project 25 is in full effect right now. And I know the average person don't sit down and read 900 pages of Project 2025. You get bits and pieces of it, you know, like I did and like other people do while listening to podcasts and listening to people smarter than me talk about this Project 2025. But it's being played out right now. Trump said, I know nothing about Project 25 when he was running. And Kamala Harris and all the people were saying he could put Project 2025 into place if he wins again. And he's like, I never heard of Project 2025. What are you talking about?
Yeah, we know he's a liar.
Now he got Stephen Miller and I forgot the other guy's name, who's part of Project 25 working in the White House. So the health insurance, the big, beautiful bill he's talking about is about to destroy millions of people's health insurance. Millions of people already lost their jobs since January 20th when this guy went into office. People losing their jobs, health insurance, School programs are being cut.
All of that is happening now before him and after him.
No, it wasn't happening before him, Tiff.
Listen, my sister was struggling before Trump. What are you talking about? I know mad people that was struggling, going through
Struggling,
health
struggling,
care and all of
struggling,
that.
struggling to live in the most expensive country in the world is different than having all your shit taken from you, Tiff. Yeah, well, everybody struggles. People struggle. I know people that make $200,000 a year that's struggling.
And if
So
they
it's
struggling,
expensive.
that's a problem.
No, it's not a problem. It's expensive to pay mortgage. It's expensive to pay car notes. It's expensive to pay all the bills that comes along with making that type of money. You know, when you make more, as Biggie said, more money, more problems. The more money you make, the more your life is. You know, your car's more expensive, your house is more expensive. Everything's more expensive because you're making more money, right? So my point is that this is a very expensive country to live in, especially
But
if you
you
live in
got
a country
so many
like.
people trying to run over here for our rights.
They're not trying to run over here for our rights. They're trying to get over here to this country because it's better than their country, because this country made their country third world countries. If a lot of these countries are third world countries because of us. So yeah, they're coming here. They're trying to escape a lot of stuff. Yeah, they're coming here to escape a lot of stuff.
It's so bad because people going to Mexico, and you have so many people that's coming from these countries that's not happy, but we're going over there spending money over there. Like I don't get. It's like you damn if you do, you damn if you don't. Again, I don't have anything against people coming for freedom. I understand, but also us black people, we still here fighting for freedom. Okay, and we a little bit free, not a lot free, a little. Just a little bit. They gave us a little bit of rights. But we already going through it. And we have to deal with all of these
Well,
things.
divide and conquer has worked on Tiffany apparently.
No, I keep telling you, us as black people have empathy and sympathy for others. Why? Because we know how it feels to be persecuted. We know how it feels to be shunned upon and treated a certain way. We do. But do they feel the same for us?
Apparently, they didn't last November because they voted for Trump. I agree with you on that.
They voted for Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald
Yeah,
Trump.
they
Did
voted
you
for
see the
Donald
whole
Trump.
dance? They was like Donald Trump, Donald.
Yeah,
I
and
couldn't believe it.
now her husband, that lady who was doing that Donald Trump dance thing, her husband's now deported. Yeah, you're right. So I get it. Yeah, I understand your argument, but that's not everybody. Everybody didn't vote for Donald Trump. There's millions of
No,
people
I know a
that
lot
didn't
of
vote for
people
Donald
didn't
Trump.
vote for him because we didn't want his rhetoric. We already knew what he was coming with. He was lying from the beginning. He was lying on stage. He was just lying, But what
Still
can we
lying.
do? They want that. Remember, you know what I'm noticing? A lot of people love toxic behavior. They will vote for it. They don't want anything positive. Why? When we want the orange man.
All right, so who talking about if black people are next. But before I show this video, all I want to say, Tiffany, is don't get comfortable thinking I was born in America and they can't touch me. Trust me.
Thank you. That's all I'm saying.
Black people in this country. They don't want me. They don't want you. They don't care where you were born, where you're from. The guy, Stephen Miller, just want an all-white America. Trump wants an all-white America. That's their agenda.
They can have it because I want an all black, just me and my peoples and my family because I don't want to be bothered with them either.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right, here we go.
Hey, for all y'all black people that see what's going on with the Latinos and y'all saying y'all sitting this one out to make white people happy, guess what? You next. If you black, you better believe it. You next. Give it a hot second. ICE gonna be looking for us too. They about to be raiding all the basketball games, all the soul food restaurants and all that. That you different from the Latino people, man.
They gonna come for black people next. They gonna come for black people next. They never stop coming for us. Police posted up in the hood right now. Only difference is they send us to prison and to the graveyard. They float and fly drugs into our neighborhoods and lock us up for having it.
Black people are next. Black people are next. We were first. The same country that wrote my ancestors is 3/5 of a man. The same country as if 200 years of slavery wasn't bad. Another century of Jim Crow laws.
algorithm has been suppressed. My videos are not getting out, but this is a warning and we need to rally together. If you are a person of color, a black person, because this is, again, directly about black people, like, share, comment, boost this to the For You page because this is serious. Remember how I told you that once they were done focusing on immigrants, they were going to turn on black people? And this is why we should have minded our fucking business and stayed out of it altogether. Trump's Justice Department halts police reform agreement. Why is this a problem for black people? Because that police reform was specifically put in place in 2015 after Freddie Gray was slain, and I'm going to tell you exactly what it means. It's basically made it so that they could keep tabs on police departments for the people that they were unaliving, harming, or being treated unfairly through them. It makes clear that the department will use all appropriate legal authorities to safeguard civil rights and protect the environment. This has to be consistent with long-standing departmental practices informed by the expertise of the department's career workforce. You follow that up with what just happened with Elon Musk doing that salute. I told you guys we were next. Share this. We need to come up with something now. This is not a joke.
All right, what's up, brother?
Hey, what's going on? Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir. Information man. What's up, brother? Good to see you, man.
Yeah, I'm doing fine. Good to see y'all. Hey, how you doing? I've
Thanks
been
for joining us, brother.
Yeah, no problem. I've been listening to the conversation. I think it's very simple mathematics. Black people warned people. We're always the playing the moral authority of the country, and I'm sick of it because black people warned other groups of people that this was going to happen. When you look at the vote and how it all turned out, white men voted for Trump around 57%, close to that. White women around 52%. They voted for him 54% the last time, but they still voted at the same percentage that they voted for Trump the first time around. And then there was all this big deal about whether black men were going to peel away from the Democratic Party wholesale. That didn't happen. You had about 21% of black men who peeled away, but that's not a majority. Kamala Harris still got the majority of black males, and she still got the majority of black women. Latino men voted for Trump around 54%, somewhere in that centile. And then Latino women, I think somewhere between 34%, somewhere in there. Asians, somewhere within the 30% and other groups. Overall, black people are overall more loyal to the Democratic Party and still, even under these times, voted for the Democrats, even in our disappointment about a few things that we have not been happy with. So if you want to really point the finger, who's to blame for what we have, you have to point the blame at those particular groups that voted for Trump. And then, of course, those people who voted the couch and didn't even get off their ass and vote at all. They are the reasons why we're in this predicament. And what's sad is that you're going to have those of us in blue states who he is attacking, who did not vote for Kamala Harris or did not vote at all. And Trump is going to make blue states pay a price. But then you've got some of these white folks who are not happy because they work in the farming industry and they're getting hit. I think what happened is that these particular groups that voted for Trump, they, I think, were aware of what he was going to do. They just didn't think it was going to impact them. So when he talked about getting rid of people, they're thinking that, oh, it's just going to be the blue states that's going to be impacted. He ain't going to mess with the red states because it's the red states that put his ass in office. All right. So I think what's happening is that it's buyer's remorse. And what you saw in Los Angeles, California, or you saw a lot of people out there who are either undocumented, documented, or illegal, or some citizens that were out there and they were outraged by what was happening. But this is the thing I have to bring to y'all attention. Where was the outrage of the Latino community out in the streets when Trump had that rally in New York, where they really ratcheted up what they were going to do to their population? Right? I think he was they were talking about Puerto Ricans, right? And but where was people out in the streets? He told you that he was going to get people out of here, whatever criteria that was going to be. Now, I think what's happening is that only about 1 or 2% of immigrants tend to be
involved in criminal activity. I think during the first haul up of people, they got a lot of guys that had gang ties and gang activity and criminal activity. They got a lot of those people out of here and sent them over there to that prison in El Salvador. And I think what's happening is that they're realizing that, hey, there ain't that many criminals they're forced to snatch up. So they ratchet everything up and said, go after people who are day laborers. That's why they were going to the Walmarts and the Home Depots and snatching people up. Now, I got to be honest here. I think that if you've been living in this country for 30 and 40 and 45 years or 30 years, and you haven't done anything to get your paperwork right, I think that's on you. And I think some of these people never thought that someone like Trump would show up and do what he's doing, and they figure I got a free pass to stay here in America because some of these people, they come over here on a work visa. They stay past their work visa. You know why I know this? I've met tons of people in California where I'm at. Women, men, people I've known that were over here illegally because they came over on a work visa and just decided to stay. And now they're getting snatched up and their family members. And it's an unfortunate situation. But you can't do this in any country. If I took my behind over to France, Italy, Spain, Germany,
yes,
a Black American, and said, you know what, I'm just going to kick it over here, work past my visa. I ain't leaving. I'm going to stay here. What do you think they would do to my black, you know what? What do you think
they locking your ass up or they kicking your ass
Information
out?
man. Information man. Can I say something? I agree with what you're saying. With that being said, information man, Barack Obama deported more illegal immigrants than Biden and Trump put together.
Right, but he
did it. He did it legally. He did it through the books.
Right.
He didn't have mass men who probably aren't even real cops. You know, probably just Proud Boys and other racist groups with masks on, running up and grabbing people and throwing them in vans and putting them in concentration camps and sending them to other countries and stuff like that. So there's a way to do this with some class other than the way Trump is doing it, like Nazi 1930s now, you know, the way he's running the country at this point with the illegal. And I get it. You're right. Everything you said was 100% correct. But there's ways to do this.
This is the problem, though, brother. Why would we expect a white supremacist like Trump to do things in a righteous manner? He showed you who he was. He showed you who he was the first time when he was in office. So he's in office for a second time, and he's trying to get revenge on everybody that he felt did him wrong. And if you look at his track, see, this is the thing that bothers me too, Brother Kev. I have told people several times, black people in particular, that really bothers me, that Trump is a racist. All you got to look at is what he did in New York when it came to housing discrimination, along with his father and various other things that he did in the past, right? And so because of that history and that past, why are we surprised that he's trying to remove people out of this country in the manner that he's doing? When you look at the people he has around him, he has Christian nationalists around him. He has a lot of these white supremacists and white nationalist groups that he's got filtered into his administration and supporting him. So he's playing out the agenda. What we're seeing is what Neely Fuller Jr. told us years ago. We're seeing the manifestation of white supremacy up close and personal in our face, manifested through our United States government, but it's even more out in our face. It's always been covert, you know, but now Trump represents outer white supremacy where he's saying we're getting rid of everybody. Kev, I just read an article today, brother, that I'm concerned about. They're talking about Trump is looking at removing certain monuments that he believes are DEI. And one of them that they're probably going to get rid of is the Emmett Till Monument. There's a couple of them around the country, and they're saying that the Trump administration is seriously considering getting rid of these type of monuments, but yet he wants to reinstate the Confederate monuments. That tells you everything you need to know.
Well, he already renamed a couple of the Air Force bases. By the way, bases that Biden changed. Biden was responsible for passing a law to take some of these Confederate soldier names off of these military bases.
Right.
Trump just 2 weeks ago reversed that and renamed a couple of these bases back to one of the bases went back to being Robert E. Lee. Matter of fact, I just read today before the show started that he's removing the name of the guy off of the ship, one of the big battle boats, ships, that big popular ship that we have in our Navy.
Well, I think it's Harvey Milk. He's removing Harvey Milk because he's gay. Remember, there was a big splash about them removing my man who broke the color barrier.
Oh, you talking
Jackie Robinson.
They
were about to remove Jackie Robinson's history memorial within the military and many others. So, and then of course there was talk about him going after the Smithsonian museums, and he wanted certain stuff removed out of the Black History Museum and many other museums. So what we have is exactly the white supremacist principles that are manifested in the presidency, and Trump is just a vehicle for these other groups to puppet what he wants. Now, I got to say this to Tiffany and everybody listening, because what makes Trump very clever is do not be fooled by the fact that he flirted with that African or that Black sister in the Oval Office. No, please let me say this. Do not be fooled by that, because part of how white supremacy plays out is that it works both sides of the argument, left and right. Trump likes to do things like that to make Black people think that he ain't a racist. So there's going to be a whole bunch of ninjas on social media. They're already doing it now. They're going to be talking about, oh, Trump's a real man. He's bringing back manhood. Look how he's flirting with this African woman. See, how can he be racist when he's flirting with this Black woman? Well, we know through historical history that white slave masters, they had no problem with having sex with black women because they didn't see you as an equal. They just saw you as sex. They'll hit any type of poontang that they can get their hands on. So don't be fooled by that. Even when he gave Larry Hoover a pardon, which only on federal, he ain't getting out on state. He picks Larry Hoover to appeal to Black folks in the streets to make them think, hey, see, he ain't racist. He picks a guy who did terrible things to the Black community in Chicago, creating those gangs and the drug dealing that he was doing. You see? So Trump plays both sides to make you think that he's not a racist just because he flirted with a Black woman who comes from the diaspora. I'm not fooled by it.
No,
I'm glad you mentioned it, because I didn't even care. I didn't bother me at all, and I didn't think that he's still who he is. I keep telling people Trump is he's
a chameleon.
The poster child for white supremacy. He just he put batteries and all of they back, and now they are excited and they doing dumb shit. Now that Black sister being there, listen. I know what kiss ass is.
Now,
okay.
this is another.
They were messing around with a white man before I will. So
this is another article that you all should look up. I was reading it today on my news links. There's a brother who is from Jamaica. He was a military veteran living in this country. His son got dragged into this dragnet, and they have now deported him to Jamaica. Check this out. Jamaica doesn't recognize him because he's not a Jamaican citizen. And now he's saying, well, what am I? Am I an American citizen or am I a Jamaican? He's saying both sides have sort of turned their back on him. His father fought in the military in this country. I believe he got citizenship. His son is either being mistaken identity or something's not. So when we say, could Black people get caught up in this dragnet? Certainly. Who's to say that any of us on this panel couldn't get dragged up and be stuck with misidentity? I got to be honest about that, Tiffany. We could all be dragged in a dragnet. I mean, you had dragnet in New York under Blasio, not Blasio, but under Blumenberg, when they had the stop and frisk. They were frisking and stopping black men.
Yeah.
Because they assumed that, oh, you must have drugs on you. So I would be very cautious not to sit back and say, oh, it's only going to happen to the Mexican people and the Asians that are here and the immigrants that are here illegally. We black folks, we sold to the tone. No, they could snatch you up and put misidentity on your ass.
That's what
Yeah, and
I wouldn't
they
be
will,
surprised they do that either. I'm not.
and they
That's
will.
one thing. I don't underestimate anything. When we are dealing with the white man or the white supremacy, anything is possible to happen. Period. So that's what I'm saying. As a black woman, I don't want y'all to think that I'm just brushing this off my shoulders. We have been holding a lot of stuff on our back for a very long time, and we have survived. So if they're gonna come for us, I'd rather do it standing up than on my goddamn knees. That's it.
Mm-hmm. I hear you.
All I was, Tiffany, they don't want black people. Period.
I know they don't, but I don't care. I'm not going nowhere. They're gonna have to pull me by my goddamn ear.
But they're gonna find ways. They're gonna find ways. Like I said, I mean, we all see that white crime and black crime is punished differently, right? So they can come up with different ways. You go in front of a white judge, you steal $10, the white man steals $1,000, the white man gets probation, you get 20 years in jail. So they can do the same thing. You know what I mean? So don't get a lot of black people are getting very comfortable. A lot of they call foundational black Americans are getting very
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. None of us is getting comfortable because we already understand the game.
Tiffany, well, Tiffany, I'm doing it because I watched enough videos of black people saying, I'm not worried because I was born here. So I
don't think they're saying that just because of that. It's because we done been through it. We know how it feels, so we're going to be able to tackle that regardless to what. We're going to be able to tackle it. I don't care. And don't be coming up with the foundational black Americans. Please do not get involved with my people.
What are you talking about?
I would just say this, that...
Hold on a second. It is foundational black. That's what.
Yes, it is, and we're not comfortable. What you're saying is the people getting comfortable. I don't.
But I'm saying, okay, but I am saying it is foundational black America who said that. That's all I said. Foundational black Americans said that this is not our fight, and I mean, they seem to think it has nothing to do.
What can we do? It's nothing that we can do when we already being persecuted against right now as we speak. What can we do? What can I do?
All is Tiffany. All I said was what they said. So I didn't say anything.
Right. I think, Carl, let me just say this. To a certain degree, you are right. There are people within the community who feel that, it's not our fight, and that other people have to hold their own nuts, and that other people are going to, that it's not our fight, and that if you're here illegally, you're not a citizen, you don't have any birthright here or paperwork in proper order, then certainly there's black people who are citizens who feel comfortable that this won't have an effect on them. But see, the way I look at it, I'm going to say it again. I don't see, this is where we have to use logic. We're dealing with a white supremacist and Donald Trump who has shown that he will violate the law 2 ways to Sunday, that he will do any and everything that he'll want to do, anything, no matter what the judges say, the lawyers, or anybody says. So I would not be surprised, because we got to remember this. I think the Trump administration was petitioning to see if they could start sending domestic, citizens over to our Salvadorian prisons and other places. That's something that they've been looking at in his administration. So, for example, let's say I get out into the streets and I protest Trump and I get involved in protest against his administration. And I'm against what's happening to people that's over here from other parts of the world. And if they finger me, they get my picture, they finger me. What's to keep the Trump administration to say, there go this man right here, this black guy right here, let's look into him. Where does he live? What's his social security number? Mm-hmm. He seems to be a combatant against our administration. And under these laws, such as the laws that pertain to being a terrorist and all this sort of laws that were passed under, we forget when Bush was in office, they passed all type of laws that hurt some of our civil liberties. And so what's to keep Trump from saying, get rid of that Negro right there, because he's creating a movement on the streets against my administration.
Right.
And now as a result, I want that man, Kevin Lee or Carl or Tiffany, I want them removed. And what's the
wait a minute. Hold on, information,
me?
man. You act
And
like
me
this is
too.
new.
And me
You act
too.
like this is new.
No, it's not new. I'm saying it's not new.
Did we just celebrate? Not celebrate, but didn't we just pass the anniversary of Fred Hampton's murder a few days ago?
Absolutely right, my brother. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. So recipe Fred Hampton. So yeah, they've been doing this forever, right?
Right. All the way back to the 60s and 70s.
Exactly. Taking out the Black Panthers because they got too powerful. Yeah.
So that's why black people, black people that are citizens, we can say, hey, nothing's going to happen to us. But the minute you step out and you go against Trump and his administration and you create a movement against him, who's to say he don't have his ICE people snatch you up off the streets and call you an agitator? That could very well could happen to some people. But see, right now, I got to be honest, we don't see too many black people out there with a movement going directly against his administration. We
already know. We already know. Matter of fact, the information, man, we can't even go too hard on this podcast.
I know.
Because we don't know who's watching, right?
Snatch them up.
Exactly. Thank God. If our numbers are in the millions right now, and we was having this conversation, we'd be targeted.
We will be
targeted. You would, because they would see it as you're influencing too many people.
We have enough listeners to piss them off. But let's say we did have Joe Rogan's numbers and we had this same conversation. We all have a target on our head tomorrow morning, right?
Right. Well, they are looking at social media and they are looking at people who are speaking against Trump in very revolutionary manners. And so I'm pretty sure anybody that's doing that, they're going to have you on a list so that they can keep an eye on you, see how far you take it.
Yes.
No, it's one guy, he was out there promoting and fighting for, Palestine and stuff. Now, he's not from here. His family, I think he got citizenship when he was born here. They locked his ass up.
That was the reason why, because they saw him as a combatant.
We let you come here and you out here protesting. That's the same thing that's what's going on with Diddy. We gave you money, nigga. And you gonna sit here and come against us? Now we're gonna shut you down. So regardless to what, we already know the game. We've been here for hundreds of years. We know the game. I'm like, again, I send thoughts and prayers. It's nothing I can do. I gotta survive myself.
So they were saying that when you travel now, clean your social media. Like if you got anti-Trump stuff on your phone, they saying don't keep that stuff on your phone, because when you travel now, going through airports or especially if you go overseas,
they're watching
everything, and then try to come back into the country. If they say if you got any anti-Trump stuff on your phone, they're telling you to delete it. Don't keep that stuff on your phone, because if ICE get your phone and go through your phone, they also said don't use face recognition on your phone either, because they don't want you going. They don't want to get into your phone by using your face. So they're telling people on social media, like on TikTok pages and stuff, don't have face recognition on your phone. If that's where you get in your phone, change it up, because they can put that phone up to your face and get in your phone.
I think that this is a scary time to travel internationally if one has to.
Right.
Because who's to say that you travel outside the country that you might be able to get back in the country? Based on what his administration is doing, let's say you out of the country somewhere having a vacation, and Trump decides I'm freezing all passports. I'm freezing it. You know how loose he is. You know how Trump is. He'd be like, I'm freezing all passports tomorrow, and then your ass is somewhere in Timbuktu, and you trying to get back in, and then you don't meet the deadline.
Right, exactly. Hey, it's gotten so bad, information, man, that I'm thinking about. I mean, I got shows booked up in red states, this fall. I don't even know
if things don't get
if things don't get better. I don't know if I'm going to take these gigs. I don't know if I'm comfortable driving to Florida right now.
You might have to
You know
manifest
what I'm saying?
that
There's so
over there.
much stuff going on. They're saying that if you are people of color and you live in red states, you should move. It's gotten that
Wow.
bad.
It's gotten that
Yeah,
bad. Wow.
yeah. So
Wow. That's scary.
I got a lot of black family that live in Florida too. So yeah,
That's
because
how it was in the past, right? That's how it was in the past for our people.
exactly.
Living in those red states, you could be lynched or snatched up. Oh man, this is crazy what we're living through, right? What we're getting ready to go through further because this man's got 3 more years. We only this. I'm
6
already
months.
tired of Trump now, and we ain't even got through the first year and got 3 more years to go. We're gonna be so much. We're gonna be like a car in a ditch. We're gonna be so deep in the ditch, and
Hey,
all
I
these
saw me. I
programs to
saw a
get
meme
rid of.
today. Information man, Carl and Till. I
Mhm.
saw a meme today. It says, we won't survive 3.5 more years with Trump. This country cannot survive that.
No,
I,
I
I
believe it.
believe it. I
I
believe it.
believe it.
If this is 6 months, what he's done in 6 months, there's no way this country can survive 4 years of this guy.
This is what let me lay something on y'all. I was listening to Benjamin Dixon. If you guys are familiar with him, he
I
has
am.
a YouTube channel. He's kind of a political progressive. He was
Yeah.
on a channel and he said that he was on, I think, X on Elon Musk's platform, and some information got leaked. So you know how the Republicans keep saying things about DEI, and that they're saying all these racist underlying racist things. They're using DEI, and you have a number of people out there talking about this whole thing called black fatigue, which was a manipulation from a sister who wrote a book about our fatigue. And you got black folks that's buying into it, and white people that's talking about, aren't you tired of black people who are complaining about this and that? And he's saying that what's happening is that what we might be in for coming down the line, or is happening, is that we're going to have a civil war, an internal, what they've always been looking for, which is a race war. That you're going to start seeing some of these groups do attacks on black people just like in the past. And it's all based on all this stuff that's being put on social media, where people are feeling comfortable to talk about black people in a demeaning way and use these terms like DEI, really preferring to black people and talking about how they have black fatigue. That it looks like these groups are getting into a frenzy, and that we could see over the course of this man's presidency some racial strife and violence happening, particularly, as you said, in some of these southern states and across the country. I think we're headed for something very serious like that. I think that's what's going to happen the more he continues to ratchet up these crazy policies. I think we're heading for doomsday.
And I
Hate to be
pray
negative.
you don't get there. It's I pray because I believe everything that you're saying. Is a lot of people riled up, very upset. They trying to start stuff, but I really pray that our people stays firm. Do not let people get up under your skin because that's what they want. Please do not go nowhere with them. My nephew said some white people tried to pick him up before, and we're in Georgia. And we have to tell our young people, don't get in the car with nobody, don't be around a whole bunch of white people. You better watch your ass. You understand what I'm saying? Like it's just real deep. So please, people, because we are going through what we're going through right now, just please know your surroundings, know what's going on. It's said that I tell people be in the house at a certain time. Sometimes being outside after 10 is just too much. Stay in the house, it's safe.
Well, the sign that should wake us up was the sign of the two twins
Oh,
who
yes.
went missing, and now all of a sudden they're saying, "Oh, they committed suicide. They took their life." And the family says, "No, something very sinister has happened here." So, in the area that they were in was said to be maybe a sundown town, but
Yeah.
I think that we as
40
black
miles from
people,
their house.
we're going to need to stick together, be on code, and protect ourselves, and be aware of some of the political rhetoric that's going on out there. Because I think there's going to be violence towards black people, as you're saying, Kev, that there are already things happening in the South that concerns you. So,
Mhm.
who would have thought that in the year 2025, that this is where we would be as a country. And you know what this is really a manifestation of, Tiffany and Karnia? We have to remember that this is part of the manifestation of Barack Obama becoming president. This is a white lash against the fact that this man was in office for 8 years. Because remember, when he was in office, how did Trump get popular? It was not only through the TV show that he was on, but he also attached himself to this thing called the birther movement. Remember, he kept trying to delegitimize. Joe Madison talked about this, as you know, Kev, several times. He was trying to delegitimize his presidency by questioning his birthright to the country. And here it is, full swing circle. Here we are now talking about birthright and who's a citizen and who's not. When that's the same thing he did to Obama, claiming that he wasn't born here, saying that he was sending investigators to Hawaii, and that turned out to be a farce. Now, the mega movement is a combination of the birther movement combined with the Tea Party movement. We forgot about those Tea Partiers. They never went away. It's a combination of both. And Donald Trump galvanized that movement when he first went after Obama. So him being in office was a byproduct of some white people in this country who did not like Obama being president. And then another thing that I've heard no one bring up, and I'm going to bring up here. Another reason why Trump got in office is because Trump got in office 2 times. He ran against, we got to deal with this reality, Tiffany, and everybody listening. 2 times he ran against 2 women in a country that's a sexist country, B, a racist country. 1, Hillary Clinton was a polarizing figure. 2, Kamala Harris was sort of polarizing to some people as well. So he ran up against 2 women in a country that never was ready to make a woman president, let alone a woman of color. And they did not like Hillary Clinton because of her husband, Clinton. So I hate to say what I'm going to say it. I think that Trump had an easy ride to the presidency, not once, but twice, because he ran up against a woman, 2 women, and most men, they ain't going to admit it, did not want to vote for a woman to be president. And the country wasn't ready for a woman or a woman of color. By default, Trump was also able to get in office again and win 2 times because he went up against 2 women that, in truth and matter, nobody was really going to vote for in a high number to put a woman in office. So Trump had an easy, I have to be honest, I think he had an easy route to becoming president. See, Trump never ran against a Barack Obama. Trump never ran against a George Bush or a Clinton. He never ran against heavy hitters.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying this to put down women running for president, but we got to be honest. But Hillary Clinton had a lot of baggage. Kamala Harris had a few issues too, but but the bottom line is Trump didn't go against no heavy hitters in this election, first time or second time, because you know why I know what I'm talking about? Because the first time that Hillary ran for president, white women voted for Trump at 54%. Even white women didn't want her. Now, a lot of black women voted for her. White women still voted the same way they voted for Trump the first time, over voting for the so-called black Jamaican woman. They wanted a man in office because we got a sexist country, a racist country, and we got a country where people don't think that women are fit to run a country like this. So Trump, I hate to say it, Trump went against the varsity team. He went against the junior varsity. He didn't go against varsity. And I'll rest it right there.
Amen. Yes, exactly. I agree. That's why I said earlier in the show before you came on that one of the takedowns earlier of Cuomo, Governor Cuomo, was taken out because he was getting so popular that I think Trump feared that he was getting popular enough to run, and Trump doesn't want to run against a white man. So they took Cuomo down, the New York governor down. We was discussing this earlier, information man. They took him down to make sure he wouldn't run for president, because during that pandemic, he got real popular being New York City governor. I mean, being the governor of New York, he got real popular nationwide at one point. He was trending as, very doing a good thing.
One
And
of
then
the
it
top
all switched
governors, yeah.
around. And then all this sexual allegation stuff came out of nowhere, and it took him down. He had to resign for governor, right? So, and I think that was a takedown of him by the powers that be on the other side, to make sure he would be in no position to get any big ideas that he can run for president, because Trump did not want to run against a strong white man, because he can't beat another strong white man. He can only beat women. He even lost to Joe Biden, right?
When
He
he
run 3
ran,
times. He lost to Joe Biden, and he beat 2 women.
right. Now, let me preference something for one of your guests in the chat room who doesn't understand or doesn't seem to pick up on the nuances of what we're talking about or what I'm saying. I'm not saying that a woman can't be president. And I do believe that the election was rigged, especially the second time around, by Trump and Elon Musk, who's the computer guy, right? What I'm saying, and it's the facts, when I say white people are responsible, because you look at the numbers. Black people overwhelmingly voted for the Democratic Party both times around. White men and white women, I can pull up I got the stats here. So don't play with me. I just looked at the stats not that long ago. I can look at the stats based on race and by gender and everything. The stats are already out there. White women and white men were the majority of the people in this country that voted for Trump. And then you had Latino men at 54%, Latino women around 34%, Asians somewhere between the low 30s that voted for Trump. Nobody voted like we did for the Democratic Party. We vote in the 80 and 90 percentile, always. So when I say, yeah, white people had played their role in this, I know what the hell I'm talking about. What I'm saying again is that because America still has an issue with sexism and race, I don't think America was really ready for let alone a woman to be president, let alone even a woman of color to be president, no more than they wanted Hillary Clinton to be the president. Because when Hillary Clinton ran, white women overall, I looked at those stats as well, white women overall still voted overwhelmingly for Trump, even after Trump had the I touch him in the kitty cat fiasco. Remember that? And they still voted for him, because we got to remember when white people vote, they almost vote as a block. The white woman is going to go along with what her husband is going to vote in that household. They tend to vote in lock, stock, and barrel with each other to a certain degree. And I also preface it by saying Obama was president for 8 years. And to me, how can we go from having someone like Obama to someone like Trump? And we know that Trump has a history of trying to delegitimize the man's presidency, saying that he's dumb, saying that he even had the nerve to demand his high school or college transcripts, even had the nerve to claim that he ain't no real professor of law from Harvard. He tried to question the man's credentials. That was white supremacy in itself, to delegitimize him. And so, so Trump getting in office was all the frustration and pent up frustration of those white people who hated the fact that he got in office. How did he get in office? You had all those college kids who were able to vote no matter where they went to school. Why do you think when Trump got in office, the Republicans were trying to make the voter ID? Because they realized that that Obama won the elections because he had galvanized the college kids, and the college kids could vote no matter where they were in the country. Then they changed the rules and said, no, you got to fly back to where you live at, where you come from. They did everything to destroy it. They saw how he won, and they said, we can never allow there to be another Barack Obama. That was the strategy. And people have forgotten. And this is why I don't understand how all these black folks who support Trump, and when you bring up the issue of racism, they want to act like Trump ain't racist. And you say, didn't you see how he treated Obama? Everything he did to Obama was a manifestation of his racism.
I think Donald Trump realized how racist America is, and he tapped into that. No other politician ever thought of doing that. They always try to walk a fine line. They don't want to come off as too racist or, anti-black. Trump saw that America is mostly racist, and he said, you know what? I'm going full chest with that. And,
Hit it right on the nose, Carl.
Carl, you're
Carl,
right.
100% right, Carl. You are 110% correct.
He knew exactly what the true temperature of the country was. Another thing that Trump does that he does well, that resonates with the people that follow him. He doesn't talk like a politician. They like when he talks shit. They like when he says things like, "This guy is a dumbass," or they like that he talks like he's from trailer trash. Even though Trump doesn't have anything to do with them economically, he figured out all I have to do is talk real greasy, and people will like that. They will gravitate towards that because it ain't presidential. That's why he's popular, because he's not presidential. He sounds like somebody in a bar, and the people, they like it.
He just dropped the F-bomb. Just dropped the F-bomb. He just dropped the F-bomb talking to a reporter live. He dropped and it barely made the news. Barely made the news.
Right. Now, if Obama was on air and was dropping F-bombs, they would be questioning whether his behavior was presidential. Yeah. But they give Trump a pass as if it isn't disrespectful to the office for him to be talking like he's in a bar somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, Obama wore a tan suit, and that was on Fox News for like a month. A tan suit. So, I mean, Trump gets away with what he gets away with simply because he's a white man. Plain and simple. But that stuff just because he's white. It's different rules for us, and there's different rules for them. Say whatever he knows that. The thing is, he knows. He absolutely knows that.
Mm-hmm.
What other president ever thought of doing executive orders and doing whatever the hell they want? And he's getting away with it. He challenged every norm of American political system. He challenged everything. Why can't I do it? I'm the president. I should be able to do whatever I want. And he's doing it.
Right. But this is let me bring this to the table. When or if the Democrats get back control of the White House and the government, Carl, Kev, Tiffany, the Democrats can no longer tell us as black people that they can't do shit. Yes. We're setting up here watching. We are setting up here watching Donald Trump push the envelope. He's pushing it to the metal of what a president can get away with. So when the Democrats get in office again, and they get control of certain parts of government again, they can no longer tell black people, we can't do this and we can't do that. You're going to have to wait. No, be patient. We got to follow the political system. We got to be diplomatic. We got to be olive branch. No, black people. Just understand that we understand you're a marginal people. We're going to get to you. Be patient. No. What Trump has done, which I think is the only positive thing, even though it's negative, is that he has shown us that you can push the levers of power to the max. So when the next Democrat gets in office, I expect you to push it to the max. I'm not yelling at y'all.
The problem with that, misinformation man, is that I don't think that's going to happen, because I don't think we're going to have another fair election.
Yeah, you're right about that. You're right. We're not going to have another fair. And even Trump said that.
You don't think Trump's going to leave power, do you? Of course not.
No, you're right. Trump even said.
If he passes away because of his age or something, if he passes away because of his age, then his vice president, who is most likely worse than him, is going to take over, right? So so now, and he's worse. He just hasn't got the power Trump has, but he's next in line,
and he's younger, more energy. Oh my God!
We need Jasmine Crockett to take over the Democratic Party.
My God! I pray for her.
This is the only way it's going to happen, Carl. Go ahead, Tiffany. Sorry. I think that, and nobody's going to like what I'm going to say here. Now, Kev, you can appreciate what I'm going to say too. Remember, Joe Madison said, God bless his heart, rest in power, Joe Madison. Remember, he said, I'm not going to pass my torch because as an older person with experience, we can tell you where the potholes are, but I'll light your torch and we'll go forward. Okay. Yes. Now, I do, to a certain degree, agree with that, but I got to be honest, Kev, there are some, and this goes beyond race, there are some Democrats that are very, 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 very old and very, 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 very out of touch. I'm sorry. They need to step away, light the torch, of course, and let people like Jasmine and all these younger Democrats, and what you're seeing is happening in New York, it's time to let a new generation of people take over, because the older generation, God bless their heart, they have done as much as they can. And I'm sorry, they really can't do much more for us, Kev, because they just don't have the energy and the steam, and they're not really connected to what's happening on the streets. It's time for fresh, new ideas. And so they have to kind of pass. They're gonna have to light the torches and kind of move a little bit out the way, just a little bit.
And they want to play by the rules. They want to play by the rules.
And the Republicans don't play by the rules, Carl. So why are the Democrats keep playing this olive branch game? It's not working. It's not that type of politics anymore. Hell, not even Ronald Reagan could get elected in this climate today. I didn't even like Ronald Reagan. He couldn't get elected as a Republican. You couldn't recognize him.
You don't even recognize the Democratic Party. I mean, the Republican Party if he was alive right now. It's a whole different party, man.
I appreciate what you said about after we see everything Trump is doing as a Republican, no Democrat cannot tell me they cannot do certain things, because as you said, he is pushing the envelope too. I mean, I thought that you couldn't do nothing as a president until you spoke to Congress. Everybody said that no president can do it. But this one's coming up here, as Kevin said, maybe he got that skin protection that he could probably do that. But no Democrat can't tell me they can't do it. They cannot do it because he's doing it, and he don't care what nobody says.
Ain't getting away with it. And what they did that was smart, which is what the Democrats should have done. They allowed the Republicans to get in office to add another person to the Supreme Court. When Biden was in office, he should have expanded that court, as people were talking about, or put another person on there. And I got to be honest, your girl Greenberg, she effed us up too, because she should have stepped her old ass down so they could get a fresh new person in there, because that also screwed everything up when she passed away. And then Biden didn't fill that position, and then opened the door for Trump to go in there and put his people on that. See, they knew what they were doing. See, this is the problem. The Democrats played checkers and the Republicans played chess. They knew all we got to do is get the Supreme Court filled up with our people. All we got to do on the local level is get a bunch of Republicans on these school boards, on these local boards, and now we can control everything. That's part of the Southern Strategy Plan.
Yep. You're talking some good stuff information.
And the Democrats are slow to the Democrats were too busy trying to play politics of the 1980s and the 90s, and it doesn't work anymore. The Democrats, the Democrats right now, the Democratic Party right now should be trying to figure out how can we infiltrate these local cities, school boards, government, just like the Republicans. Start at the local level and then start building up coalitions from those local level to the national. And they got to get behind a candidate that is resonating, just like what the guy in New York is doing. He's resonating with people because he's talking about things that the Democrats have gotten away from.
And he's considered a socialist because he wants to help people.
That's damn
What the hell that mean? Oh, I want to help some people have better lives. You're a socialist.
Yeah. Trump wants to rip us off, and he's just fine and dandy.
Exactly. He is ripping us off. He is ripping us off. Him and his sons running phone businesses and all sorts of crazy shit out the White House right now. It is nuts, man. I used to get so sick of Biden and I supported Biden, but every time he got on TV and he looked at the camera and go, this is not who we are. Oh, that used to drive me crazy. It is who we are. What are you talking about? It's not who we are. It is who we are. This is not who we are. Yes, it is. It's who we are. Everything you see is who we are. Like people voted for this.
We don't have any men in the Democratic Party with the fire of Jasmine Crockett, even AOC. The women seem to have all the fire. And
the men don't have no fire.
No, that's what I'm saying. The men they want to play by the rules, and they say Trump is breaking all the rules. Yeah, but he's winning.
I think Jeffries was getting ahead of steam, and then something happened. So I don't know if he got paid off or threatened or something like that, or his family got threatened because he kind of slowed down. But he was getting Hakeem Jeffries was getting ahead of steam at one point. He was Jasmine Crockett before Jasmine Crockett, but then he fell off. I don't know why he fall off. Sometimes these guys get bought out. Sometimes these guys get threatened behind the scenes. We don't know what's going on. They found a tape or something. Man, we found a tape of you back in 1992. You and some dude.
Right. Well, part of the problem.
You'll be quiet. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying he was starting to gain some steam, but then he fell off like crazy, and I don't know what happened to him, man.
This is part of the problem. This is part of the problem that Black people are going to have to come to Jesus with when it comes to the Democratic Party or Black Democrats. I did a video about it on my channel. You should check it out. You do know that a lot of the Democratic elected officials have been compromised by AIPAC. Hakeem Jeffries has been compromised. I've got a video on my channel, a video I did about this, where you have the people who run AIPAC saying things about how they have to target and solicit and recruit and look for young Black people who can be potential leaders that they can get their hands on first to make them be loyal to who? You know that little place called Israel, all right? Make them loyal to their bidding. So when you wonder, why is it that these Black politicians keep shucking and jiving with Black people? Because a lot of them are compromised by AIPAC that's been involved in doing what? Putting money in their campaign. So that's why you don't really see Hakeem Jeffries behaving in a way that we would say is sort of radical. You don't see him going against what's happening in Gaza and all this sort of stuff. He don't talk harsh against it because people like him and others, they've been compromised. This is why this is all the Democrats that are old that we have up there are not for us. We got Cuomo, who was doing all type of corrupt stuff as governor of New York, but yet you had people like Al Sharpton putting his support behind him. And then you got people like Clyburn who put his support behind him. Why are they not putting why is the Democratic Party not putting support around the young Arab brother in New York? But they wanted to put their support around a man who has a history of all sort of illegal activity and smutting out the women in his administration. They were trying to put him back in office. And Al Sharpton. So it's like status quo. The Democrats, if they continue to keep going for this status quo crap, they're going to lose again, whether it's a fair election or not. They're going to lose because people like us on this panel, like Tiffany, we not going for the banana in the tailpipe no more. We know you can will power because Trump is showing you how it's done.
Right. 100% right.
Well, what is the solution? Seriously, what is the solution? Do you think the Democratic Party is ever going to change? Are they going to get a backbone, as we've all said? Is somebody going to step up and take the reins? They're afraid of Jasmine Crockett because when she called the governor of Texas, Governor Hot Wheels, some of them were saying that she should step down and she should not say. And Trump has said way worse. And the Republicans never asked Trump to step down or never asked Trump to, But I don't know what the solution is for the Democratic Party. They seem to always want to be the nice people, and they're finishing last. So I mean, we talked a lot here today, but what is the solution? If you were king for a day over the Democratic Party, what would you do?
Well, I laid that plan out. I mean, anybody want to elaborate? I mean, they need to start recruiting the younger talent that's not compromised. They got to get the younger people, the younger energy, new ideas. I think the older, more experienced Congress and senators, they need to light the torches of some of these younger folks and teach them the potholes and to navigate around. And they got to start having new voices. I think people are ready for new voices. Clyburn has been there for a long time, but I think his voice, I'm tired of hearing his voice. We know what we're going to get from Clyburn. We know he's going to get on MSNBC and laugh and giggle and chuckle and and say, I'm going to support Como. And, I don't want to hear all of that. We can't use the same old brand anymore. They need to be rebranded. And this cannot be a Democratic Party that is going to sit back and take a bunch of punches from the Republicans and then play nicey. No, the Republicans are showing us that they're willing to cheat, lie, steal, and play by no rules. So the Democrats have to meet power with power, and you need to have voices. Like what I liked about the guy who's running for mayor in New York is that if you notice, everybody, in one of their debates, he called Cuomo out and said, hey, we got a guy here who smutted out women. We got a guy here who's corrupt. I like that he came out and talked like that because that resonated with the people of New York who don't like Cuomo. I'm sorry. Sometimes you got to say it like it is. And that's why Trump has been so effective, because he don't get into political talk. He talks to you like he's in your damn living room at a barbershop. We got to get rid of this guy. This guy's a bum. That's how he talks. We got to get rid of this one congressman who voted against me. He's a chicken foot bum. We got to get rid of him. His people love that because he sounds like a common person, even though he's a fucking silver spoon kid. That's why he resonate.
Republicans showed up with a Sherman. Democrats showed up with a slingshot. We can't win with a slingshot.
Right, we can't win like that. And so we just need new, fresh ideas. And it's not that we don't have new ideas, because there's a lot of young Democrats that are up and coming. But it's time to pass over the reins to some, like, what's her name? Nancy Pelosi. I mean, come on. Nancy Pelosi is like 86, 83. She's been in there forever. It's time for, and you saw what she did, Kev. They wanted to put AOC in a leadership position. And because of her, she kind of squashed her out of the opportunity. That's what I'm saying. Come on. Nancy has been in there for so long. She's had power. Come on. Give the young lady a chance. Because Nancy Pelosi, she's not providing us any new, fresh ideas.
She's not.
She's not. And those like her. So it's tiring.
I agree. I think we need fresh blood, but I also think that I don't think we did anything. With that being said, I don't think we did anything wrong in November. I think that what you said about Elon Musk and Trump is true. And I think if they cheated and stole the election, they cheated and stole the election. So we can't really say the Democrats effed up, because they really didn't, because that woman should be president right now. We saw all those millions of people in the street 3 weeks ago with the No Kings March. Mm-hmm. You see all those people in the streets, and you saw the stadiums that she was filling up, the arenas she was filling up, and this guy couldn't even get crowds of freaking 10,000 people at a rally.
Right.
And he won all the swing states, but all the way down the ticket, it was all Democrats. Democrats won all the way down the ticket, except for the top of the ticket, the president.
Right.
That makes no sense. So people went into the voting booth and said, yeah, I want a Democrat for this, Democrat for this, Democrat Congress, Democrat Senator, Democrat whatever, Democrat. Oh, President, a Republican. That makes no sense.
Right. Well, the only way it makes sense is if she was either cheated out of the election or if there were young people who went to those rallies, but they did not vote. We know traditionally, and you know this all, that traditionally older people always show up to vote. It's the younger people who will show up to rallies, get hot under the head, get excited, but then they sizzle out and don't show up to vote. Okay, so either people didn't show up to vote, they didn't, or when they voted, they got second thoughts about voting for a woman and a woman of color. I'm going to still emphasize that. I think that played a heavy role, that there were a lot of people that did not feel comfortable with the idea of a woman taking the helm. And remember, they kept demonizing Kamala Harris with this whole note she to be to handle the military and to make harsh decisions. And all that is born out of the fact that she's a woman and it's sexism and all those sort of things that we've been inundated with in this country. So we can't deny those factors when it comes to voting. And then America's a racist country, man. They rather vote for a convicted felon, a cheater, a liar, because he lies like no other, a guy who bankrupts casinos, a guy who is corrupt as hell, who uses the presidency to enrich his family. So if America felt comfortable with voting for a man like this, then it tells you, it speaks to the true values of America. Withstanding the potential for this election being ripped off with Elon Musk doing his computer shit or whatever the hell he was doing, right? Because I think there was some funny business going on here.
Yeah.
With
no
Elon
doubt.
Musk.
No doubt. No doubt.
We're gonna wrap. I want to thank everyone for watching the show. Thank you. Thank you, Information Man, for coming on.
Yeah, thank y'all for letting me come on. I appreciate it.
For having you on this.
I love you, Mr. Information Man.
I love you too.
Hey, brother. Hey, man. We didn't get a chance to shout out. We've been so busy with this stuff. We didn't get a chance to shout out the passing of Mr. Walter Scott from the Whispers.
Yeah.
California boy, right? Information Man.
Yeah. I put a community post out about him and his passing. And
yeah, man.
I've been noticing because I put I put out quite a few community posts. We've been losing a lot of legends. We lost a few people the last couple of weeks. They always say that it happens in threes.
Yes. Yeah, we're losing a lot of legends. A lot of our legends are in their late 80s or early 80s, and these guys are sad. Whispers is some amazing music over the years, man.
Yes,
I was a huge fan of their music, man. Amazing guys, great singers. And that was one of the twins, man, one of the original founding members. So
yeah, they was born in Texas. They were born in Texas.
Cool. Born in Texas, but raised in Southern California, and that's where they started their career too, as music artists out of California. So yeah,
amazing.
Here's
wow.
Some whispers.
All right. Wonderful, wonderful.
Thank you, Carl. Appreciate that.
I want to show this video too. This is Kevin sent me this about the lynching, the recent lynching.
Ooh, where?
So behind me right now, this is a tree that a black or a brown man was lynched on this morning in Del Mar Park in Colorado. Look at this park, man. This park is not a place where you hang somebody. Mind you, this is a crime scene. There was a body that was taken from here. Where's the yellow tape? You see people right here playing volleyball. Right now that the news is trying to chop it up like this was an unalive situation. I don't know any man personally that would unalive themselves on a tree. And that's the difference between how the media treats black and brown man dying versus others. And also, you need a goddamn chair. How is that possible? RIP to the brother that happened to, and I hope everything ends up working out for their family. But we understand 100% sure, whether this was a white man who did it or whether this was a message sent from our own community, we know for sure it was a message, 100%. And I'll update y'all later.
And here's 34 black women have gone missing.
34 African American children have gone missing within 24 hours. 34 within 24 hours. That is ridiculous. No one is talking about this. It's not on the news. We have to make the move. We have to make the news. We have to make it heard. So make sure you like, share, repost, and create your own video. We need light brought to this situation. It's very serious. It's emergent. It's urgent. And it's very important that we do what we can to get this out there and for everybody to hear it. Make sure you tag news outlets, reports, blogs, anybody and everybody you can tag to make sure we bring light to this situation. Our babies are missing. Our babies are missing. 34 within 24 hours. Something is going on and we need to know right now.
That's a damn shame. I've done videos about black women being missing. So, yeah, they've had a problem in D.C. and around the country with black people, black women in particular, and black people overall going missing and never attention being paid to it. DC has had this problem for a while. This is not a surprise to me because they've been having an ongoing problem with black women going missing in DC and across the country, and nobody really pays a lot of attention to it, especially mainly the mainstream media. So I got to look more into this particular incident myself personally, but this is horrible.
Man, it's horrible, man. I'm from DC, man. That just, man, that just breaks my heart and hits home in a different way, man. Wow. Yeah, I read about the DC women missing, and man, you just gotta keep your head on a swivel right now and be smart and keep your eyes open and don't go places at night by yourself unless you are armed, and just always know your surroundings. You know, just know your surroundings. Know your surroundings. Don't get out the store. Don't get out the car to the grocery store. Because a lot of people walk to their cars now, going, you know, I see women all the time walking to their cars, looking at their phone, not even paying attention to their surroundings. You know, I'm guilty of it myself, you know, walking to my car, looking at my phone. You know, those days are over. You got to freaking just keep your head up and know your surroundings and be smart about your moves right now, because we're living in some crazy times and some crazy people out there that's been emboldened to harm us, and we got to fight back.
Right.
So this video,
well, thank you.
I'm gonna end on some humor since Kevin and I are comedians, and we're gonna end on some humor. But you guys can tell me if this is a problem for us black people? But it's funny. All right, here we go.
Hey, I graduated college. Hey, I'm home, son. Tearing down for what?
Get more celebration coming home from prison, huh?
For real, Carl. They've been going in like weddings now. Okay, they do not play with their young people today. They are rooting for them and all of that. So maybe that was probably about 10, 15 years ago. But I don't
I
think they
agree.
doing that now.
I agree. I agree. Hey, so next week, people were saying that I saw some comments, a couple of our regulars saying the show was kind of heavy today, and it was. So we're lighting up next week. We'll be talking about Diddy's acquittal. Okay, we'll light it up next week. Diddy will be home in his mansion, taking long showers and baths in his hot tub, and we'll talk about that because that jury's gonna come back before next Sunday. You can believe that.
And we want to give a shout out to Black Men's Mental Health Month. I think this is going to be the last. Tomorrow's the last day. And men, or if y'all dealing with mental health, please make sure you reach out. We know that y'all go through it also, and we love y'all. So shout out
Yes, we
to
do.
mental health for our Black men.
So here's
Information man. We ain't talked to you in a long time. If you could join us next week, man, we'd like to know your thoughts.
I'll
We'd like
come
to know
by
your
next
thoughts
week.
on, like, know your thoughts on Diddy, man, because we haven't talked about it with you yet. Like,
Okay.
or there's been a long, 7-week trial. I'd like to know your thoughts on that, man. You're very, know your
Yeah,
information.
I'll give you some thoughts I have on that. There's a lot of things I have to say about that, but yeah, I'll come back next week, man. This is a great show. You guys always have hot topics, so I'll
Appreciate you,
have to
man.
definitely
Appreciate you.
tell my folks to come on over for that one. I'm going to drop off the panel so y'all can close out, but y'all have a great rest of your week. Take care. Tell somebody that you love them, everybody. Peace. Thank you. Peace.
All right, brother. Thank you, man. Good to see you.
Thank you. Thank
Stay
you.
safe out there. All right. Information man. Like that dude. All right.
Here's
We know that men are 4 times likely to take their own lives because men face extreme pressures and loneliness, and it's a struggle for us to express ourselves emotionally. You see, we face societal pressures to uphold an emotionless, hyper-masculine facade, but it's up to us to change that. And that's the goal of Men's Mental Health Month. Check in on men in your life, because you never know what they're going through or what they're holding in. If you feel no one cares, go to the comments of this video and you'll notice people do. So brother, hang in there, because it will get better. I promise.
That is true. Men feel like no one cares. I know. I get that feeling. Nobody gives a shit.
That
I
was
get that
nice,
feeling
Carl.
all the
Thank you.
time. I get that feeling all the time. Yeah. I wish I knew you were gonna play that, because I had a video similar to that I would have sent to you for you to play, man. Because I have something similar to that. Very popular brother that put a video out just like that, Carl. Yeah. So
Dealing with mental health. Yeah, we definitely, we salute y'all, men. We know that y'all go through it. Nobody pays attention to it. And another reason why I talked about it is because Lamar Hill, the journalist, he
I
wound
like
up
them. Yeah.
saying something online. He was on a podcast and he mentioned dealing with depression, and everybody overlooked it but like one or two people. They was like, wait a minute, you said you're depressed, and then you have another man says, why are you depressed for? You would never know what people go through behind closed doors or what he has to deal with. He said he has a lot of pressure. He has to take care of his family, his mother sick. A lot of people don't never know. We'll probably smile up here and many people smile, but you will never know what people go through behind closed doors, mentally, physically, spiritually. You understand what I'm saying? Health wise, we will never know. So definitely we have to be aware, and definitely sending love out to our men. And if you need help, please reach out.
Yeah. So we're gonna close today's show. Thanks, Donna. I know you do. Appreciate that. We're gonna wrap it up. Before we go, Tiffany, anything you want to share that you learned on today's show?
We learned we learned a lot. I think every time we do a show, we learn something about each other. We learn something about somebody else, or we get somebody to come on our panel and we learn from them. So I appreciate the conversation call with all of us when we sit down and we talk and we communicate with each other because we need it. With our world the way it is right now, we need conversation. So again, we want to send love out to everybody. Please make sure you like and subscribe. This is protected by fair use only, educational purposes only, entertainment purposes only. We do not own the rights to the content or the music. We also want to say rest in peace again to the one of the from the mighty whispers, Mr. Walter. That was
Right.
my main thing. I really loved watching those two men do
Two
their
twins.
thing. The
Yeah.
twins do their thing. Yes, we know we have the band, the whispers, the whole thing, but the twins put something extra on it. So we want to definitely send love out to his family and to his other twin. You got to remember they was born together and they're not dying together. So, we want to definitely send out love to them. And a lot, like he said, a lot of people has passed away this weekend. I want to send a shout out to my niece, baby Sadine, and her husband, Dwayne Rome. They lost their father. He lost his father this week. They had a fish fry and he went home and went to sleep and never woke back up. So we definitely
Right.
gotta appreciate our loved ones, give them loves and hugs because we don't know when their eyes can close. So we love you all and please make sure you tune in next week.
All right. Kevin, anything you want to say from behind the curtain?
Man, I don't know, man. I'm just,
You
man.
done scared us to death already.
Yeah, I apologize, man. Sometimes this show is heavy. We discuss topics that are hard to listen to and hard to comprehend, but I guess we're here to talk about it. That's why we're talking about it. And I hate talking about this stuff. I hate studying and reading all this stuff all week and watching people's podcasts and listening to, like I said earlier, people are a lot smarter than me, break this stuff down, and I just take it in and go, wow, man, I can't even believe that we're here in 2025. So just take each day at a time, keep your head up, try to
That's
be
right.
positive, surround yourself with people that love you, keep your circle small, and keep your eyes open and be smart, because right now is no time to be stupid. And that's all I got to say to everybody. Just be smart, and men, women, everybody keep your eyes open and keep your head up, man. Straight up. It's crazy times we're in right now. I'm done.
I want to thank you to all of those of you who commented, and that includes Scooby D2, Donna, thank you so much. Gina Fiore checked in, thank you so much, Gina. Nicole,
Gina stepped out on us. She said it was too
She said
much
it was
for
too
her.
heavy. She had to leave. She had to go on into her beautiful home and say, "Let me leave these people alone. They doing too much."
She's not even in the country anymore. She's good.
Mm-hmm.
over in Italy, living the life.
Crawford, thank you so much for checking in. Hope all you guys come back. Pamela Jones, Giron Rose, thank you so much. Thanks to everyone watching the show. We really appreciate it, and we hope you guys come back, and we hope that you tell other people about our show, your friends, your family, your enemies, whoever. Just tell everyone about our show. We really appreciate it. I have a terrible, terrible headache, which I've had from the beginning of the show, and I don't know how I made it to the end of this show.
Well,
But
thank you, Carl, for doing that show. We're sorry to hear that, man.
it's all right. But I'm here. I've always powered through any sickness I've had. I've just powered through it. So the show must go on, as they say. So thanks again, and we will see you guys next week. And please like, share, subscribe. We have so many people watching, but we don't get a lot of likes. That doesn't even make sense.
Smash those likes button, touch those like buttons, lick the like buttons. I don't care.
You just gotta hit the button. Just hit like.
Like.
Do it. I do it all the time when I watch YouTube videos. I especially if they're black.
If I like it.
Yeah, I just hit the like button, but who knows? All right,
hey, I'm Team Diddy.
We know you are.
Diddy coming home. Goddamn money grab. Leave that man alone. Y'all got y'all millions. Let the man come home. All right, I'm out.
See you guys next week.
See you next week.
Bye.
With the knowledge you gain, break away from the chains. We helping you grow the black therapy. In a safe space, dealing with the black trauma. We unpacking and inspecting all our baggage and drama. Cause we gotta unite, no more killing each other. It's time to see a new future for my sisters and brothers. You know, with Kevin, Carl, and Tiffany, you'll have an epiphany. We'll give you everything you need to handle the enemy. We'll be giving you everything, we're gonna challenge you mentally. The right conversation so you grow exponentially. We built your penitentiaries, we built all your schools. Gave us brainwash education, just making us fools. Hatred was what we got in exchange for love. No more manipulation from my God above. It's Carl, Kevin, and Tiffany. Now welcome to the Black Therapy Show. Let's go.